Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity for allowing us to present very quickly on the Rail Data Marketplace from Rail Delivery Group. I am Hayden Sutherland. I am the technical lead. I'm the architect on this project. I'm joined by Carl, who's our product lead, and Claire, who's our commercial lead in the background. Thank you very much. Right. What is the problem? What are we trying to solve here? For those who don't know, rail is a very, very fragmented ecosystem of different providers across both private and public sectors. There's no actual view across the sector of what data is available, where it's available from, and how it's available, where it's collected. It's very, very random. There is lots of also sector-specific language, jargon, acronyms, which I will not give you today. And this really, it's very hard these days to get clear, straightforward access to data to do any form of project modeling, insight, or anything like that. Also, data quality is varied, and depending on the source and where it's collected from, it can be of differing quality, and the statements and the promises made around that data are few and varied as well. So when people say that they have 100% accurate, concise data, it is rarely that. As well as that, data formats and standards are inconsistent, and not all data is open data, as you're probably aware of definitions of open. So, the Rail Data Marketplace, what problem does that solve? Well, the RDM, Rail Data Marketplace, aim is to simplify access to rail-related data. That's data just vaguely related to the rail sector. Make it discoverable, make it opened up to a wider user base, give a single access platform and point where people from across the public and private sector can find data sources, can get hold of these data sources, and they can be shared in a consistent way across the sector. Carl, do you want to talk about features and capabilities?
Thanks, Hayden. Yep. So when we look at the marketplace concept, Hayden and I have implemented marketplaces in lots of different sectors, from retail to defence to financial, but you tend to see common functionality across them. So we have a data catalogue, and that's applying the FAIR principle, making sure that data is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, as we just heard from Rami. And then a way to publish that data and manage your data product, a way to manage content on the platform. Licensing, so part of that accessibility and reusability is a license builder. As you work through the publish flow and create a data source and a data product on the platform, you're able to answer a series of questions, and that generates a sort of almost off-the-shelf license, which you can use as is, or you can tweak and bespoke if you need to. So it's reducing a lot of those barriers for particularly smaller entrants that may not have access to that sort of commercial resource. As well as managing the APIs themselves, we'll be building in later iterations a community forum. We see that as being really critical for this being a sort of self-sustaining platform. The ability to request different data products, to host data challenges, say we think this challenge should be solvable given the data out there, how do we go about it? So people can collaborate or go into competition to solve those challenges. There's reporting, analysis, insight, and then also from a service point of view, we have service management, but also things like billing and invoicing, all handled through the platform. Next slide, please. So some of the benefits then of this service is providing access to data and real-time rail information. What is it all about? Really, a better customer experience. You know, if you're using the rail, we want it to be an optimal experience for you, but also for the industry, because it is that sort of quite unique blend of private and public bodies and governing bodies and safety boards and supply chain and so on. There's lots of opportunity for efficiency, and data is the key to unlock that, and we need to sort of facilitate that. Okay, next. Thanks. And linked to both of those, really, we want to support growth in rail. We want rail to be that sort of travel spine, the green travel spine. We fully support cross-modal public transport. We understand that rail might provide the core of a journey, but you've got to get to your rail station, you've got to get onto your destination, and we want to help that whole multimodal journey. We want to stimulate innovation. There's lots of so when TfL made their data open and provided a platform, that's Transport for London, sorry, we saw over 600 apps and services built on that data, and we see similar opportunities for innovation, particularly hopefully from perhaps smaller bedroom app developers and so on, right up to huge data aggregators as well. And finally, it sounds a bit wishy-washy, but the rail industry is very specific in the way that it handles data. Some of it is legacy, comes from decades and centuries of doing things in a certain way. And so, although we want to help influence and change that wherever possible to improve it, there's a bit of an education piece, in terms of explaining, particularly to new entrants, smaller entrants, how does it all work in our industry. Next slide. So I'm not going to go into this now. Normally, we do a live product demo. We are live in public beta at raildata.org.uk at the moment, and we're rolling through a series of iterations private beta, and we're rolling through a series of iterations to public beta later on this year. And you can see a screenshot there, but I'm not going to go into that now due to time.
Right. So thanks, Carl. So what are we saying to all the people on this call? How can you get involved? Because we're in a pilot phases and we are evolving our capabilities, we would like more and more people who are interested in sharing and finding data. So for those people now, we are inviting people into our beta program. If you're a data publisher and you have a rail related data source, or you want to make those data shareable, you want to monetize those data assets, or you've got a requirement, or you're legislated, or you're mandated to share that data, we have the platform for sharing data if you're a publisher. If you want to consume data, you want to consume data from across the rail industry, do you want to find and use new different data sources? Do you need specific data products for your project, or want to discuss them and want to work on them on a platform? We have that. Now, yes, it is rail related, but we will be having, as Carl said, multimodal data from across different modes, including scheduling and also weather data, but also potentially event data, multimodal, and useful data support that journey across the transport ecosystem. I could bore you with talking about data standards and the complex landscape for hours, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do instead is to say, you can look at Rail in a Marketplace. We take a search, contact us on this email if you would like to be involved. I don't know if we've got any questions, any time left, but be interested to know how we did, or if you want any more information, we are available. Thanks very much for giving us the time.
That was perfectly timed to the 8 minutes, Hayden. Just to say, there's lots more audience-specific stuff that we want to talk about in terms of digital twins, how we see it might help augment. If you've got your platform, whether it's TwinView or Bentley or CAD, BMS and BIM and all that sort of good stuff. But we don't have time. We can do that next time if we're invited back.
Very much.